Investor Brand Network, IBN, a multifaceted communications organization engaged in connecting public companies to the investment community, is pleased to announce the launch of the Stock2Me podcast as part of its sustained audio communications effort to provide specialized content distribution via widespread syndication channels. The following Stock2Me podcast is an Investor Brand Network audio production and may feature a client partner of IBN. Investor Brand Network may have been compensated for the production of this podcast. Please be sure to read our entire disclaimer for full disclosure. Thank you, and here today is your host of the Stock2Me podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, and thank you once again for joining us here on the Stock2Me podcast. We're joined today for the very first time by Nextech AR Solutions Corp. Now, they're traded on the Canadian Securities Exchange under the ticker symbol NTAR, and on the OTCQB exchange under the symbol NEXCF. Now, we're speaking with Paul Duffy today. Paul is the company's president. We'll introduce him in just a moment, but do yourself a favor. Go to the company's website. Follow along there at nextechar.com. That's NEXTECHAR.com. And of course, I'll be reading about the company at the Investor Brand Network website. That's investorbrandnetwork.com. Click on the Clients tab and you will find a detailed deep dive into the company's profile. With that, let's welcome Paul to the show. Paul, thanks for calling in. How are you today?
I'm great, Stuart. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I know you've had a very busy morning, so we'd like to jump into, you probably do this all day long, telling people exactly who you are and what you do. But for those not familiar with the company, if you would, let's describe the company and its business model now first.
For sure, Stuart. Thank you. Yeah, it's something I do quite frequently, several times a day, which I love doing, by the way. Nextech is an awesome business. We are, at the heart of it, a technology company. But what makes us different is that we put augmented reality into everything that we do. And so for a little bit of background, augmented reality, for those that are really unfamiliar with it, it's the ability to take photorealistic objects, could be people, could be products, could be places, and superimpose them principally through your smartphone, so that as you view your phone over an area or a location, you can conjure up a hologram, literally augment the reality of that space. And why that's powerful is we as a business put that into virtually everything we do. And I'll give you some examples. We have a thriving e-commerce business. You can believe it, we sell things like vacuums and pet supplements and human supplements. But all of those products you can view as holograms in your location. So if you wanted to view a vacuum, you could literally press a button on our website and it will conjure up through your browser that particular vacuum as a hologram, and you can pinch it, zoom it, rotate it, put it in your cabinet, put it in your closet, see if you like the color, take a selfie and send it over to your partner to say, that's the one we want to buy. And all of that is very useful in converting shoppers to buyers. In fact, we've been doing it now very successfully to the point where as a test bed, it's informed pretty much all the key areas in the customer's journey where augmented reality is like a force multiplier to convert them from a shopper to a buyer. So it's worked very well for us. We also take augmented reality. We have a phenomenal virtual experience platform. In fact, we call it our digital experience platform, where you can go in and, as you know, with COVID, pretty much all in-person events have either been canceled, they've been delayed, or they've been put into some level of virtual. So think about the ability to beam in a speaker during one of these events as a hologram into your home. And so we do those virtually every day. And more importantly, if you wanted to go to a location but you can't go there, with our technology and augmented reality, you can literally place a door in your home, view it through your phone, walk through that door, and transcend into an entirely different geography. You literally beam from your home or your office to that location. And again, it's something we've been doing now, particularly with COVID, with more and more abundance. And so we're thrilled to put AR into all these different types of experiences. The final one I'll say, Stuart, is that we also in January launched the AR ad network. And this is quite extraordinary as well. We all know the digital ad space is a growing, thriving industry. But because we have our e-com business, we also know that an awful lot of customers visit our website through these ads. So we'll put 3D AR ads out into the wild, and we'll notice an enormously high click-through rate, which is wonderful for increasing conversions. So that business literally launched in January, and we're having a great time bringing that into the market as well. So that's a little bit of a view about Nextech. I hope that didn't sound too crazy, but that's literally what we do every day.
Yeah, you've done this before, not your first rodeo, because that was incredibly succinct, as well as you really told us exactly what it was. And I can tell this is pretty high-tech stuff, but you put it right in the right perspective for us. So the whole time you were talking about it, before you mentioned the pandemic, I thought, man, this is where shopping has to evolve to when people do it virtually. This is exactly where church is, and I see you have virtual faith and worship, and of course the high education. So definitely a great time to be speaking with you, Paul. You're our guest today. Let's learn about you as the president of the company and the management team around you.
Sure. So, well, Evan Gappelberg founded the company. He's the CEO. I joined Evan probably about 3 weeks after the ink was dry on the incorporation. And literally from there, today we sit at over 300 employees. We began the company back in January 2018, trying to get my dates here. And, we have been nothing but on a tear. And I'll start first by revenue, and then I'll fill in the team just to give you a sense of how we've shaped it out. So our first year in 2018, if you can believe it, we did a whopping $100,000 in revenue. It was all about putting the formative planks in place, the capital structure, bringing the company into the public market, getting the business plan firm, understanding the early market opportunities. And then as we went through 2019, if you can believe it, we cracked over $6 million in revenue. Very rapid growth. And we knew the zeitgeist at that point for augmented reality was in the world of e-com. So, in addition to having our own e-com sites that we were selling products like vacuums through, we had a large number of clients who would subscribe to our web AR, so use the same technology we were using because it was so successful. When COVID hit in 2018, now in North America, we noticed it principally around the February-March timeframe. We basically began putting our technology into our e-com event platform, which grew to become our digital experience platform today. And as of 2020, we clocked out at a little over $17.5 million in revenue, a little bit about $2 million in backlog carried into 2021. And, we had some really rapid growth. So, if you think about it from that perspective, it became very critical that we bring in the best type of leadership we could find. And so, we had Eugen Winchell from SAP join us as our COO, amazing operator. Eugen came in, we brought in Chris Burton, who heads up our EMEA, our North America, and our customer experience sales, formerly from SAP and other locations. In January, when I was talking about the AR ad network, if you can believe it, Harish Achi, the former president of Microsoft Online, who basically built their entire ad platform, came in to head that or helm that business unit within Nextech as well. And then to round it out, because we had so much demand from the Asian market, back in October, we started Nextech Asia, where we brought in Yao Boon Lin, who himself was formerly from SAP and IBM, to head and be the managing director for that region. So today we sit with just a little over 14 executives on our leadership team. A little bit under 300 people in total in the company, and we're growing. And it's, as I said, a wonderful business, right? When you can put augmented reality into all sorts of activations, it's kind of blue sky. There's just so much out there. So, staying focused and having the right team is kind of critical.
Yeah, very well said with the blue sky comment. Sky's the limit. Yeah. So many different applications for this technology and such a great need for it today in the world we live in that we call our new normal. The kind of website I would expect from a company like yours, incredibly informative. Listeners, again, Nextech AR. You roll over product solutions, but you can find everything right there. I see the AR solutions, the virtual events, and then under for investors, I'm looking at Meet the Team, following along with everything Paul just said. So a great place to learn more about this company. Do your due diligence for your investment there and at the Investor Brand Network. Well, Paul, you've given us a very good background for the company. since its inception through these responses to these other questions. So I'm going to skip forward to, let's talk about where you are today. As it stands today here in 2021, what are some of the operational goals for the company in the remainder of the year?
Oh, great question. It's very interesting. We've a number of key priorities, right? I'll start with we just want to continue to do more and better with what we're doing, what we came out of 2020 with, and that is a thriving AR e-com business, a thriving digital experience business that uses AR in all aspects. Growing through 2021 will be our AR ad network. And, that I'm super excited about for a variety of reasons, but mostly because the world of 5G is coming fast and furiously. And so if you think about everything we do as a business, even though we're a tech company that puts AR into all our activations, it only gets better when it's running in 5G, because the enablement for the bandwidth, for the type of experiences that you can produce and deliver and then track and measure is just phenomenal. So just think, and we all know 5G. Just imagine you got 3 or 4G phone, but now it's like 10 to 100 times faster. Lots of things you can do. Those people we talked about beaming into your home take on an entirely new, realm of possibility when you're running in 5G. And so as a business, because we're global, we're seeing demand in all regions for activations and for deliveries in the world of 5G. And so that's an area that as a business, we will continue to adapt and evolve into through 2021. So I think we're going to have a very exciting year in 21, and I think we're going to have an amazing year in 22, just with the way everything's lining up.
Well, yeah, I'm excited already. I mean, you just left it off with you're excited for 2021. You're even more excited for 2022. And here I am just learning about your company today. And through the profiles at your website and at Investor Brand Network, I've learned a lot. Now I want to go dig deeper. I'm going to go hang out on that website, see some of the experiences. Paul, thanks so much for your time and your insight into your exciting company today.
Thank you, Stuart. I'm looking forward to talking more with you and your audience in the coming weeks.
All right, listeners, once again, we are speaking to Paul Duffy, president of Nextech AR Solutions. I want you to learn more about this company. I've given out the websites. Use those ticker symbols, though, to go get the quote on the company on the CSE NTAR, on the OTCQB NEXCF. For Paul Duffy, this is Stuart Smith saying thanks so much for listening.
The following Stock2Me podcast was an Investor Brand Network audio production. IBN is a financial news and publishing company delivering a new generation of corporate communication solutions, including news aggregation and syndication, social communication, and enhanced news release services. Investor Brand Network may receive payments for corporate communications relations, as well as various press releases and social media solutions provided to its clients. IBN holds no shares of any company named on the IBN sites, brands, and/or podcasts. To be clear, all officers, directors, and independent contractors of Investor Brand Network hold zero positions in and do not trade or intend to trade the securities for their own accounts. This interview is not an offer or recommendation to buy or sell securities. Information in this broadcast is presented solely for informative purposes and is not intended to be or should it be construed as investment advice. As in all investments, investment in the featured company carries an investment risk. Listeners should review the company thoroughly with the registered investment advisor or registered stockbroker. This podcast audio interview by Investor Brand Network is not intended to be a complete study of the featured company or other companies mentioned. Information used and statements of fact have been obtained from featured company and other sources, but not verified nor guaranteed by Investor Brand Network as to completeness and accuracy. Such information is subject to change without notice. Please see our full disclaimers and disclosures at investorbrandnetwork.com.